I think we've even got a little spot in the workbook here where you can kind of, calculate that out later or now if you like. But it shouldn't exceed more than 33%, somewhere between 25 and 33% of your gross monthly income. Does anyone ever see their gross monthly income as take-home pay? We don't see it, right? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why that's our industry guideline, but it is. Dave shakes his finger at that and says, your monthly mortgage payment should be no more than 25% of your net monthly income. Now that's what we see, and that's what we get to budget off of, right, is our net monthly income. I think most of us, unless we have some CPAs in the room, which do we? No CPAs? Well, wait a minute. Where's Deborah? Isn't she a CPA? Back here she is a CPA?
She's got a lot of accounting background. She tries to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah, good. So with this, what Dave wants you to strongly consider is based on a 15-year mortgage, not a 30-year mortgage, but a 15-year mortgage. He wants you to strongly consider taking your net income that you see at the end of the year on your W-2s or 1099s and figure out what 25% of that is and then divide it by 12. That should be your total monthly mortgage payment, including your principal and interest, your taxes, homeowners association dues, and your insurance. So that's a much more conservative figure than a 30-year note on up to 33% of your gross monthly income, right? It's a big difference. Does anyone in the room that has purchased a home, has anyone purchased a home on a 15-year note before? All right, so we've got a few folks that have. How about, 30-year, 40-year mortgage, when those exist? Of course, 40 years probably didn't exist 20 years ago, did they? You bought a 5? You did, was it a 5? Was it a 5?
It was from my mother. I bought it.
Wow. And you paid it off in 5 years?
Well, I had to borrow more money to have the house fixed, and here I
Took a little longer, but still 5 years. So that's doing the
about 10
years.
years altogether.
Okay, that's very good, very good. Dave wants it, and I know you guys have heard this, but he wants us to pay those homes off fast. He wants you to build real estate, build wealth with real estate. There's a way to do it. There's also a way to be really stupid with it. We've seen a few of those transactions, and sometimes it's not even a consumer. Maybe they've leaned upon their banker or folks that only know one way of doing things. But I challenge you to be smart and to really think this through and think through what Dave has done in terms of buying a home. I was having dinner last night at a little place called Louise's. And I happened to sit next to this lady, just a little pizza joint, I guess, and she was sitting there, and I usually get the opportunity, anytime I meet someone new, to talk about what I do, and that's always a common question when you first meet with someone, well, what do you do, where do you live, and she was probably mid-60s, and she was so proud of herself, I couldn't help her. I tried every way to say that. She owns 50 properties. If you go there, you might even know who she is. She owns 50 properties. She paid them all in cash. She doesn't have any mortgages. So she's done it without, she didn't even know who Dave Ramsey was. She started this many, many years ago, but 50 properties, free and clear, and she gets to do what she gets to call her own shots. Do whatever she wants, and there's a way to do it. She always would pay cash for a home, and ideally that's what Dave would like us all to do, but we're not in that position, and therefore mortgage companies exist. But if you can think about being smart on this next home purchase, and it might mean that you see this really big home that looks really, really pretty, and you see this other home that's nice, but may not be exactly what you want, but your payment on a 15-year note is affordable versus on a 30-year note. He wants you to really consider it, okay? We'll counsel with you whichever way you'd like to go, and we'll provide you those options. So just know that when it comes to budgeting, I just will strongly recommend for you to know where you stand versus where a loan officer is going to tell you they can get you approved for. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah? Any questions regarding budgeting? Because you guys are all new, so does everyone here have an idea what their monthly mortgage payment, including homeowners association dues, taxes, and insurance should be? You guys know? Or you still want to go through that math, right? This is kind of the process to go through that. The next thing that I like to do, I like to spend some time on is, oftentimes, buying a home is one of the most, it can be a very stressful time. It can also be a very fearful time, particularly in the phase that you are now. Is anyone in contract to buy a home right now to move into in the next 30 days? Of anyone under contract? Has anyone recently been pre-approved or pre-qualified to buy a home? Wow, you guys are going to be fun. Okay, very good. It's scary, isn't it? Does it feel a little scary to you? Do you wonder, gosh, I think I forgot to pay my phone late about 6 years ago. I wonder if that's going to pop up and haunt me. You know, we probably all have those questions, right? Or maybe there was a bankruptcy sometime in the past. And so you may be thinking, I really want to buy a home. You wouldn't want to buy a home. You wouldn't have spent 3 hours plus some travel time getting here unless you were serious about purchasing a home. Would you guys agree with that? You're not here unless you're not here just to waste your time, right? You're here to learn something and take the next step. So part of that next step that we really like to help you with is provide you a copy of your credit report and be prepared. I've got an application here that we'll go through and we'll have to answer questions over the next 15, 20 minutes to help you complete that process so we can, number one, give you a copy of your credit report from a real estate industry perspective. If you guys seen those commercials that they advertise, freecreditreport.com and all those crazy commercials out there, that's consumer report. That's not a credit report that we look at in the industry when you go to buy a home. We're looking at 3 different credit scores. We're looking at your credit as if you were buying a piece of real estate, not a car, not going to Banana Republic or to Target or whatever cards there may be. Yeah, Target, I know, get a little. Did I hear a chuckle? Target. You guys have heard the story about Target? Yeah, it's kind of a sad thing. I hope no one was affected by that, but that was kind of a sad thing. But we'll give you a copy of your credit report. It's so much more necessary today than it was even 5 years ago or maybe even 20 years ago. We probably took your word if something was misspelled on it. Today, we're under so much scrutiny that if you have an initial that's missing or you've got something that maybe, just questions, is anyone named after their dad? Yes, same name? Same name? Okay, it's very common, we see it very often, that maybe your dad's credit fell onto yours or yours fell onto his, and that may affect you in a good way or it may affect you in a negative way. We need to take care of those things in advance, okay, of you getting serious about shopping for a home. We want to make sure your credit report looks clean when an underwriter goes to look at it. And we have some time. It doesn't sound like everyone's ready to jump in. They're not in contract. We have some time to work on those things. And the littlest thing can cause great pain. So we like to be able to prep you, and that's what we do, is we review your credit report. Dave doesn't like credit repair specialists. Does everyone know what a credit repair specialist does? You pay them money, and they ask you what's wrong with your credit report, and then they go to fix it. Or they might even work negotiating downs and balances. Score where we need it to be. So we take a look at all of those things. We even have credit simulators where if you know, let's just say you're at a 640 and you want to be at a 680 credit score, we can put in, what do I need to do to jump my balance up or jump my score up? And we work with those tools. It's all part of what we're going to provide for you today. So by doing so, I'm gonna pass around an application. This is what in our industry we call a 1003, a lovely government form. But what we try to do is, whether you're talking to someone over the phone and you're placing an application or you're going online, this is the basis of the information that we ask of you. And what we did try to do is just highlight what we need you to complete, because if we ask you to complete everything, we'd be sitting here probably for an hour or two, and you'd be racking your brain trying to remember. Complete out as much as you can on the highlighted section. If it's not highlighted, forget about it. And Joey and I are here, we'll answer any question. I'm actually going to play a Dave Ramsey video. Let me pass this around. This will, your credit report, the ones that we pull are $20 expense per person, plus tax, I think, right?
$19.50, no tax.
$19.50, thank you. You're sure, no tax, huh? Oh, I thought it was with tax. All right, so it's around $20, but I'm going to, for being our guest today, I'm going to take care of that expense for you, okay? let me pass this around. If you aren't sure if you want to fill it out, you want to ask us, just raise your hand. It's okay. We can help determine if this is the right thing for you to do. This will also will help us. We only need one per family. If you plan to buy a home together, we only need one per family. If you are, do we have any non-married couples that are looking to buy a home together? Is everyone married that wants to buy a home together, or single? Okay, cool. But I don't have to have that conversation. But just one application then per family. Does everyone have a pen? Does anyone need a pen? Cool. Oh no, this is from
I'm good right now. Thank you, sir.
OCA, right? OCA.
You know what my credit is. Too much of it.
Can we turn the video on, and then if you see anyone have questions about filling this out, or if you do, just pop up your hand real quick. All right, so we'll move on to the next segment here. One other thing that I'll mention to you that we do, and I have to give Joey some major kudos. He actually helped design. We've got if you bought a home before, you've probably been on the other side of the desk or the phone or the email, and you've got someone rattling off. I need you to basically give us a copy of anything you've ever signed in your whole life, dating back to 10 months before you were born. You know, those are the things we're looking for from you. But what Joey did, he took all of the things, all of the questions that we asked for, and put in there a really cool document checklist that is consumer friendly. We're not asking you for government forms, right? We're telling you what we need, and I think more layman's terms, which makes a whole lot more sense. But there's a little, and there's not a copy in here. Joey, did we get a copy? Did we get a hard copy there? Because that was really hard to read. Those were supposed to be in the box. They didn't arrive in the box.
I'll go check the box.
Double check. They might be underneath. But it's a checklist that no matter where you are in the process, it'll help you prepare your paperwork, whether you have electronically or you've got it in a filing cabinet. It'll help you prepare the documents that we'll be looking for from you. So just be mindful of that. And I know you cannot read the one in your book, so don't even get your readers out and think, well, it must be my eyes, because with and without glasses, it's unreadable. So hopefully we've got it in the box. If not, we'll get a copy emailed out to you as well. So number 3, choosing a realtor and shopping for your home. What I like to just express about this is in all the years that I've been in mortgage and real estate for probably, coming up on 25 years. I know Darren's got that. He was telling me 20 years in the business. It's so important with all of the folks that I have personally counseled and helped to buy homes that I can't stress enough. If you work with a lender that has a relationship with a realtor, or you work with a realtor that has a relationship with a lender, because different people, you approach a lender or a realtor at different times. Sometimes you approach them together. But if you work with one that has a reputation for working together, has a common purpose to help you through the process and work together with all of the parties involved. It's not just you and the realtor or just you and the lender. It's that we've got a whole team involved in helping getting you into that home. And one of the things that we love about working with Dave Ramsey's endorsed realtors is we get it. We know we know we may be working with some situations that folks have no credit report, no credit scores whatsoever, because that's part of what Dave Ramsey teaches us to get to. And with that comes a whole different set of challenges. And generally, the realtors that are familiar with Dave Ramsey, it's helpful for them to work with folks like Churchill Mortgage because we have those products. But the situations might be a little more challenging for us. But that's okay. We work through them together. So we're very thrilled to have the opportunity to work with Darren and his team and his partners. So with that, Darren, would you like to pop up and help educate all of us on what it means to interview a realtor, look for a realtor, and shop for a home?
Pardon? Drum roll. You're like, oh goodness, here's the sales guy, so sirens going off in your head, We're very thankful that you're here. I am Darren Webb. Thankful for Candace and all these great people that put all this together for you. I have sold real estate about 20 years, and in that time I've sold probably 2,000, 2,500 homes. And that's not to be impressive or anything, but here's the biggest thing that I see with real estate all the time. When you buy or when you sell a home, it is the most expensive financial transaction you make for that calendar year. I mean, period. If you've never bought a home before and you're going to go get a mortgage for $100,000, I mean, that is a lot of money. And usually in our market, you're spending, average sales price in Edmonds a couple $100,000 plus, right? And so I meet people all the time, and they're like, well, I met my realtor at church, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? That's great. I'm a Christian. I think that's cool. But then it's like, well, how many houses did they sell? Well, I don't know, okay? I mean, you need to get somebody, if you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't care if it's $50,000, whatever the number is, who knows what they're doing, okay? It's interesting because if in our economy, think about this for a second, real estate was not needed. In other words, a realtor was not needed, okay? It would, the whole concept of real estate would be eliminated. In other words, a lawyer would handle real estate, right? Or, if you could do something on your own, and we're in a society, God bless America, where you can, then everybody would do it on their own, okay? But what happens is with real estate, it's such an unusual profession because it's highly stressful. Thankfully, I still have hair, right? You've got to find somebody who's doing it a lot because there's a lot of nuances that you don't even know about, okay? Everything from quality construction to do I buy a new home versus an existing home, etc., okay? Regardless of what I say, there's one thing I would write this down, and Dave Ramsey will tell you this, okay? You make your money in real estate when you buy. You make your money in real estate when you buy, not when you sell. Okay? So you have to be aware of that. And what realtors do a lot of times, they're really good at being kind of pushy. So, this morning I wasn't trying to push myself upon you. Hi, I'm Darren. Let's go buy a house kind of a thing. But they want to push you. And they want to push you to buy as much house as you qualify for. And they kind of want to push you into a transaction where you may or may not feel comfortable with it. So first of all, you make your money when you buy. Don't be afraid to ask questions, right? I mean, if you're going to spend $50,000, $100,000, a couple $100,000 on a house, right? Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question, okay? And then I also really look at my job personally a little bit differently. In real estate, we always have a lot about liability and risk reduction. So what that means is, for instance, let's say you buy a house, and last year we did about $20 million worth of real estate sales throughout the Oklahoma City area, okay? And some of those are stressful. That's why Courtney's, in her 20s and feels like she's in her 30s, right? And of course, Deborah's stuck in her 30s, right? Okay? But my point is this, say you buy a property and, you're looking at using an inspector, for instance. This is what most realtors do. This is Oklahoma real estate law. I don't want the liability of choosing your inspector. And a lot of realtors don't even want to choose your lender. So they just kind of hand you the yellow pages and go, hey, go find somebody. Well, I played this thing called college football, unfortunately, and I wish I didn't because I have some orthopedic issues, okay? Anybody have some orthopedic issues going on as you get a little bit older? So I kind of limp on this knee and stuff. Well, unfortunately, I'm ahead of the bell curve. I'm supposed to get a knee replacement sometime, which we're trying to kind of, offset because you don't do that in your 40s. My point is, when my orthopedic surgeon tells me I want you to go see this guy, right? I don't question it because I trust him. He didn't just hand me the yellow pages and go, hey, go find a knee replacement specialist. I'm sure there's a good one out there, okay? So what I'm saying is, in my job, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I like to take somebody and educate them about the transaction. Watch, I've done this several thousand times, and sometimes I haven't always done it well, right? I've messed it up. Ask Courtney and Deborah, okay? There's some things, oh boy, that was not as good as it needed to be. My point is, with that experience, you need to be paying, that's what you're paying for. That's what you need. And God bless them, there's some great realtors out there. But just a real quick quiz for you. Does anybody know the average number of transactions a residential realtor in Oklahoma County sells a year? Anybody want to guess?
6.
6? You're high. Okay? It's about 2 to 3. Now watch. If you're going to go spend a couple $100,000 buying a house, do you want somebody that's, selling you a house like they sell a house once every 3 months? Are you kidding me? That'd be like going to a financial planner. I mean, it's bankrupt, right? Some of you guys use Shaw. Shaw's a great guy. I know him. I mean, he knows the baby steps, etc. So I don't care if you use me or don't use me. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I'll be okay either way, right? But I'd love to help you and educate you in the process. Okay? And part of it is, for instance, in Oklahoma County, this is another little general rule of thumb, you should be buying a house for the most part that's below the assessed value. Okay? General rule of thumb. Now, depending on certain price ranges, that's hard to do. But why? Well, because the county assessor's high on their values of a house, because that's how they collect taxes, right? Well, so, do we want to be on the high end for anything that we buy? No, right? So we'd like to be on the lower end. So that's a litmus test that you can use, okay? But I just really think that real estate, excuse me, top of everything else, I had this great little upper respiratory thing going on. You just need to realize it is the most important amount of money you will spend for that calendar year, and some of you for your life. And so don't take it, lightheartedly. Don't just go use somebody because you saw them at the 7-Eleven.